Hello everyone, this is Jason from the Edge of Midnight channel. This is a video I didn't know whether I'd be able to do. It's about my wife, Paola. We met at a live action roleplay game. I think it was Vampire the Masquerade. For some reason we just sat down and started to talk. It was as if the entire room just disappeared. We talked about Babylon 5 and Deep Space Nine, horror books like Brian Lumley, Dean R. Koontz, Stephen King. By the end of that first night, we both knew we had something special. Within days we were a couple. Within a month we were living together. She was at college. And I was just getting into computers. I was working at a small shop building computers for people. And then one day she got ill. I've talked about her illness before, ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. All these pictures you see were taken by her. All of the artwork indoors she created. The medication that kept the cancer away did such a lot of damage. It caused arthritis, progressive arthritis. It caused damage to her hands, her arms, weakness in her muscles, insomnia. She couldn't sleep more than 2 hours a night. She was always in pain, always had cramps. But she never gave up, and she never stopped crafting. When we weren't gaming together, she was always looking for something else she could make. Some new craft to explore. Because as time went on, the actual medication side effects built up. And so a lot of the stuff she used to do, she couldn't do anymore. And so she started taking pictures, she started to carry a camera around with her whenever we went out in the wheelchair. And she never let me stop. She always wanted to take pictures while we were moving. It comes to something when your wife is so damaged by the medication that you can't even hug her without hurting her. Literally, if I put my arms around my own wife, I could cause her pain. But no matter what, she never gave in. She never gave up. She fought every single day, and I fought alongside her. She was not only my wife, she was my best friend. Every hobby we shared, every TV program we watched together. She'd always be looking for new things that I might like, a new B-movie to buy on Amazon, or a new TV series we might enjoy, or some cool piece of tech, because she was a gamer as well. And as I always joked, the only problem with having a wife who was a gamer was I had to make sure that both computers were always running at the same speed. She didn't mind us spending our money on a new graphics card as long as we got two, as long as both computers were just as good as each one. And yes, she would check. I made that mistake early on and I've never made it since. We used to call our wheelchair adventure chair. When we went out to the canal, to the local lakes, anywhere that you could reach, because I didn't drive, but anywhere I could push her in the wheelchair, we would go. You'll notice in a few of these pictures while she's outside that she's always wearing a big coat, usually on top of a hat, on top of a hoodie, 3 or 4 different layers. And that was midsummer. The side effects made it so she was never warm, no matter what. We dealt with the cancer, then the side effects, then diabetes kicked in due to the medication, and that diabetes destroyed her kidneys. And all through it, she never stopped smiling, never stopped fighting. It's who she was. But more than that, I remember one day, 2 years ago, she was in hospital, she was in terrible pain, could hardly move, was carrying about 12 kilograms of extra liquid in her body because the dialysis wasn't working right yet. And so I leave her at night, and the nurses tell me the next morning that as soon as I left, she got out of bed, got herself into her wheelchair, and went around to all the other people that were in the ward. She told me the next day they looked as if they needed company. It's just, she was amazing. My dream was to take her on a boat, on the canals, me piloting the boat, she could sit there in the back, taking pictures, and then paint from those pictures, because she had a little portable paint set, and she used to paint on these little postcard size pieces of paper. We did manage to get on a boat. I bought one, a small one, called Kathleen. But it broke down after a couple of days, And it was probably for the best, because a couple of days later is when she started to get even worse. The only regret that I have in my life is that I couldn't heal her. That I couldn't fix what was wrong with her. Because in my opinion, the world is a much less place without her. She's the kind of person that even though she was always in pain, always suffering, she would always have time for someone else, would always listen to what was wrong with them, would always help them. She did the same for me. People wondered and always said to me, "Oh, how can you do so much for someone else? You must be some kind of hero to be able to do it." I wasn't a hero. I did it because of her. And I always said to her that I was okay as long as I lasted just one more day than she does. Because that was my job in life, to be there for her. And she is the reason that I'm on here now. She wouldn't want me to die. She wouldn't want me to give up. Maybe one day I'll be strong enough to get out of this house and walk the streets again without breaking down because she's not with me anymore. But she's the reason I'm so lonely, and she's also the reason I'm still here. I think you would have all liked Paola if you had met her. And for those in Stoke-on-Trent, you may have seen us sometimes. The very strange looking couple in the middle of summer. Me with a t-shirt and shorts, pushing along a red wheelchair with a woman who was dressed like an Eskimo, as if it's midwinter. With us never stopping talking. But anything good I do in the world, anything that I manage to succeed with after this point, is because of her. Every hospital appointment she went through, every craft that she created, every lesson that I learned, I don't regret any of it. I just wish that she was still here with me. Thank you for listening. I apologise, I know this was probably a hard video to watch. Maybe not as hard as it was for me to put it together. I wish you all the best, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. I hope that you're happy and that life is treating you right and that you can appreciate what you have, because there's so many people out there that don't have the basic health. This is Jason, signing off for the Edge of Midnight channel.